Guys, as you know, we are on a mission, a goal to try to reach 25,000 subscribers, and we could really use your support. If you enjoy daily Knicks content like this, enjoy the post games, the clips, the guest interviews, and all of the other content that we drop, please consider hitting that subscribe button because it could really support all the great content that we're creating for you. With this win over the Orlando Magic, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks are now third in the Eastern Conference. The way we started off this game, it felt like it was the same thing like last game. It was a tale of two halves. The first half, the Knicks really wasn't playing defense like that. They weren't really attacking like they should have. And when they were in their offense, they were settling for a lot of shots, and they were allowing Orlando to run everything that they wanted to run. They were attacking inside. They were doing everything that they wanted to do inside, and they were cutting inside as well, too. But the way we closed that second quarter and headed into that second half, that's New York Knicks basketball. Moving the ball, moving ourselves, getting others involved, making the extra pass. And then the defense in that second half was absolutely tremendous. Way better than the first half. We were stopping a lot of the penetration inside, and that led the Magic to shoot a lot of those three-point shots. Some of them they made, some of them they didn't make, but at the end of the game, we still got the W and walked out of there with the victory. We can point to a lot of reasons why the Knicks won this game, but for me, three players made the difference. And some of these players may not get a lot of shine, but one of them deserves a lot of it. Mikal Bridges shut down Jaeln Suggs, who going into tonight's game was their best player, especially offensively, but we made it a hard time for him. Then you had the captain, Jalen Brunson, doing what he does best, leading us, and Karl-Anthony Towns. Oh, well, he didn't do anything too impressive, just got his first 20-plus game as a New York Knick. Nothing too impressive, but we're going to break down everything regarding the Knicks, the Orlando Magic, why the Knicks won this game, but also why the game was so close. And in my opinion, too close. The Knicks should have blew out the Magic. They didn't, but we're going to get to why as we break down a lot of parts for today's game. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. So anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. The Knicks beat the Magic with a second half push, and it was an amazing second half to talk about. Now, obviously, we have to start the game, and we have to give flowers where flowers are due. I don't do this often, guys, but I got to do it here. The Orlando Magic, bravo to them. Undermanned, missing Franz Wagner, missing Paolo Banchero, missing a lot of their key players that play a significant role for them. So technically, the Knicks should have came into Orlando and blew them out. We're talking about MSG South. We heard the entire arena chant for Deuce McBride and Jalen Brunson when they were hitting those threes. So it's not like the Orlando Magic had the crowd factor, even though they've been a very good team at home. But we have to understand, they were missing a lot of players. The Knicks should have taken advantage of this game, but the Magic, to their credit, did not allow the Knicks to do that. And they did it in two ways. First of all, the switching on defense, the aggression on defense, and how aggressive they were on offense. The Knicks should have known the game plan going into this game. The Magic cannot shoot anything. They can't shoot a three to save their life. We're going to get to those stats so you understand why, because they couldn't make a bucket tonight. That's one of the main reasons the Knicks won this game. The Orlando Magic were so aggressive in that first quarter. They were attacking. They were cutting. And that's the main reason they were in the game. They can't shoot, but what they can do is they can make shots for other players and get them wide open. Their rookie, De Silva, he had so many open looks from three because they were penetrating, creating, and swinging the ball to him. That's what a lot of teams do to New York, and that's what the Orlando Magic was doing early on. The Knicks couldn't really stop it. The only thing I can say is thank goodness for Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, if he's not playing that defense on Suggs tonight, pounding him, making the game so difficult for him, I don't know if the Knicks win this game so easily. Because Jaeln Suggs, when he gets going, when he goes off, he goes off. He can score. And clearly, whatever he does offensively, whether he's good or not, it's not going to affect his defense. He is going to play aggressively on defense, and he did it all night long against Jalen Brunson. He did it all night long against a lot of players on the Knicks. I was worried there for the first half. I thought it was going to be another Dyson Daniels situation on Jalen Brunson, where he was going to get shut down again. I am so thankful that the captain proved everybody wrong and said, you're going to play physical against me. You're not going to call anything against us. You're going to allow these guys to hit me in my face, run over me, knock me down, and you're not going to say anything. And by the way, the Knicks allowed the physicality in the first half to take advantage of them. The physicality took them out of the game. We have to admit that. And you know what's so funny about that? Last year, who used to do that? We used to do that. We used to be the team that would play you so physical that other teams around the league would complain, that's not a foul? The refs are not going to call that? What are the Magic doing now? The exact same thing. That's why you have to give some credit to them. They were playing us well. But the refs, I mean, for some plays, they got to be blind. The Knicks were getting assaulted. Hit down low. OG Anunoby gets mauled. Hit on the shoulder. No call. Miles McBride rolls to the rim. He basically gets attacked by Jaeln Suggs. No call. That's because the refs have respect for the level of defense that Orlando plays. They're playing in Orlando as well, too. And let's face it, for the last, week, have the Knicks really got any calls to go their way? I'm not saying that the NBA is out for the Knicks or they hate them. But I mean, some of these foul calls are blatant, and they're not calling them. If I can see them, and I'm complaining about them, and I normally don't do that, then I mean, there's something to say. Something's going on there. We need to stop it. But either way, nonetheless, the Knicks adapted. That was the biggest thing. When you're playing a team that physical and the refs are not calling anything, what else can you do but be aggressive back and adapt? And that's what they did in the second half. They didn't complain in the second half. They just attacked. They packed the paint. They made sure shots weren't easy. And they made sure Orlando stuck to more jump shooting. And a lot of those jump shots were open. Look at Mo Wagner. We're going to get to what he did. He had a career high tonight because we allowed him to have a career high. The three-point shots were open for them. Perimeter defense is still a problem for New York, but you got to pick your battles. Do you want them to get the easy two or make them take those hard three-point shots that they really can't make? The Knicks had to pick one. They picked the Orlando Magic to shoot those threes. And at the end of the game, it worked out in their favor because the Knicks were able to battle. They were able to keep the lead even though Orlando kept fighting back. It was a 10-point game, fought back to a 6-point game. 14-point lead for the Knicks. They battled back to a 7-point lead. And then going into that fourth quarter, they kept battling until the Knicks ran away with it. They took the game over and they never let it go. And as we can see here, final score of the night, 100 for the Knicks, 91 for the Orlando Magic. I got to say it again. Orlando deserves a lot of credit for being that scrappy against us. They did not have to come with that intensity. Obviously, with the match they just lost against the Bucks, they really didn't have a lot to go into this game with. But they came, they saw, and they definitely took advantage of what the Knicks were giving them in that first half. New York allowed them to run inside as much as they wanted to. They shut it off in the second half, but the consistency that I was talking about, that I get made fun of sometimes in the comments, where people say, well, Troy, you're talking about consistency. It's so early. How long are we going to say it's so early before we start talking about the fact that consistency is an issue? We won the game. I want to talk about a couple of reasons on why we won the game. And one of those main reasons, Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, in terms of what he did tonight. Now, maybe the stats aren't going to show it because I'm going to show you it's going to say 17 points, 7 of 11 from the field. And you're going to think to yourself, that's it? That's all he did? That's what you're bragging about? Watch the game. I'm talking about from the tip-off, when Karl Anthony Towns tips that ball to the Knicks side and Jalen Brunson has it. From that moment, Mikal Bridges changes everything. His defense on Jaeln Suggs was absolutely miraculous. Talk about shutdown. Jaeln Suggs couldn't do anything. He was in a box. He was in a box, a paper bag. He could not see the basket. And even when he could get a shot, he knew there was no chance to breathe. You're going to breathe with Mikal Bridges down your back like that? With Mikal Bridges hounding you like that? Mikal didn't allow him to breathe once. And even when he had a chance, he thought that the other player was going to come right along him. So he was worried, rushed his shot. So a lot of the open shots he had, he missed. Some of it was good defense from Mikal Bridges. Some of it was very, very poor play from the Magic. And some of it was just missed opportunities. But I'll take it because shutting down Suggs, for me, was one of the main things. We talked about Mikal. Let's talk about another hero of tonight's game. You know what we're going to be talking about. It's our guy, Karl-Anthony Towns. Towns tonight recorded 22 points and 22 rebounds against Orlando, marking the 13th time in his career, first time as a Knick, recording 20-plus points and 20-plus rebounds. 22 points for Karl-Anthony Towns, 22 rebounds, 5 assists, 7 of 15 from the field. I mean, Karl-Anthony Towns was doing it on all sides of the floor. But the thing is, I know people are going to make a lot of comments about his points and his rebounds. The 5 assists, I think, are the main selling points for me in his game. He found Mikal Bridges a number of times, found Jalen Brunson a number of times. He has a very uncanny ability to just make the right play and the right pass. And I'm not going to say he does it right all the time. He does make some boneheaded plays at times. Sometimes he does it. Sometimes he tries to get a little fancy with the pass, passes it above his head or behind the back. And there's a lot of people behind him. He just shouldn't make those passes. However, when he is making the right plays, it just looks like beautiful basketball. He's not even thinking about it at times. He's just making the right read because he sees it. You guys saw that floater game from Towns high off the glass? Every time I watch Towns play on offense, depending on who he goes against, he pulls out something else from his bag. Something else on offense that I haven't really seen that well or haven't seen often. I'm not saying he doesn't have a floater game, but to shoot it so high, float it so high off the glass, that was like Steph Curry-like in a way. Very, very, very good offense from Karl-Anthony Towns. However, got some more amazing players, don't we? Let's all do it together. Come on now. You know who I'm talking about. The man that Jaeln Suggs could not stop. Tried to stop. Tried so badly to stop. Just couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Because Jalen Brunson tonight, ladies and gentlemen, 31 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. The captain was in on business tonight. And Orlando was the mission. 31. And when I'm talking about 31 points, he was battling for those points. Pushed around, pushed down, no foul calls, hit on the arm, grabbed on the arm, pulled on the arm, yanked on the arm, pulled jersey, pulled shorts. I'm not the only one that's seeing all of this, right? You guys are seeing it too. This man is getting abused and assaulted. No calls. And then there's one play. Fourth quarter. He goes against Suggs. Suggs is playing him aggressively, right? Continues to play him aggressively. Brunson says, "You're not going to call it? You're not going to call it? You're not going to call it? Fine! Throw up the basket! Ah! That's what I like to see. That's the energy. That's the captain. That's the guy you need to lead us." And he did it in every single facet of the game. You needed a pass? I'll get you a pass. You needed me to score a bucket? I'll score a bucket. I'll hit a 3. I'll make the defense collapse on me so I can get an open shot for Mikal, so I can get an open look for Josh Hart, so I can get an open look for OG Anunoby. The captain did it all. I want to talk about the double big lineup and how effective it was. So early on, if you guys are watching the game, OG Anunoby picked up 2 silly fouls, 2 early fouls. He could have probably stayed in the game, but Tom Thibodeau said, you know what, I have Precious Achiuwa, a backup wing here, might as well just put him in. We saw the double big lineup earlier than expected. I think around the 8-minute mark or so. I thought the defense looked a lot better, and here's why. Gogo Batadze was in the game. Who was on him during that first possession when he was inside the paint trying to get a one-handed rebound? It was Precious Achiuwa. Towns switched, and that is what the main goal and the main aspect is, why that lineup works so well. Because that lineup can switch between Achiuwa and Towns so effortlessly. Because Achiuwa is athletic. He does a lot of things that Karl-Anthony Towns can do. Not at the same level. He's not the same player, of course. But you saw it a couple of times tonight. Can he shoot the 3 ball? Probably not with the same accuracy as Towns can, but he still can shoot it. Enough that he's a threat that a defender has to go out there. Maybe not all the time, but if he hits it at least once, a defender will go out there, and that's going to lead him to fake it, drive, and really get the bucket that he wants to get. Because let's face it, that's his favorite play. Faking a shot, driving, and getting inside, making the easy basket. So I thought Preston Achiuwa was doing that from time to time. As we can see here, 8-man rotation. I guess the minutes are coming up a little bit, even though Cam Payne only really played 10 minutes tonight. We got to really increase that. But DNPs for Matt Ryan, Jacob Toppin, Jericho Sims, and Tyler Kolek. You can make the argument that in certain times there, if we needed more size, Jacob Toppin could have absolutely been inserted into the game. I mean, the kid is 6'8", 24, had a 30-plus point game in the G League the other game. You're telling me he couldn't be utilized during this game, playing 10 minutes just to rest, I don't know, Mikal Bridges, 41 minutes. OG Anunoby, 37 minutes. Karl Anthony Towns, 43 minutes. Jalen Brunson, 38 minutes. And Josh Hart, 33 minutes. Achiuwa coming in at 18. Cam Payne coming in at 10. And Miles McBride coming in at 21 minutes. I mean, I know the game was close, so you had to play our players. I thought even going into that fourth quarter, we were closing out the game well, even though the Magic was starting to make a run back, trying to push the pace. That's why the starters stay out there, so I understand that. But I mean, even with that, even if that has to be the case, 41 minutes, 43 minutes, 38, 37, this is just not okay. We cannot play these minutes consistently night after night and think we're not going to risk an injury happening. An injury is going to happen. I'm not wanting that. I'm not wishing that. But when you're doing this to your starters, that's going to happen. I'm not happy with the minutes, but we got the W. And oftentimes when we get the W, a lot of people don't think about the minutes. They just think about the W, how we got it, and what we can do better. Something that we can do better is fix that minutes management. Because if we don't, it's going to cause a problem. 8-man rotation is not going to work. Expand the rotation and good things will happen. Let's talk about Josh Hart tonight. 33 minutes, 5 of 9 from the field, 1 of 3 from the three-point line, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 12 points. Again, very, very close to averaging a triple-double. Not going to get a lot of talk about here tonight because he didn't really do a lot in terms of, you know, normally with Josh Hart, he's getting a double-double. He's scoring more. He's doing a lot more on that end. But when he's having kind of a lower scoring game for Josh Hart and not doing that much in terms of rebounds and assists, you're not going to hear a lot about him. But if you watch the game, you clearly understand Josh Hart was effective. He was impactful. There's a reason SNY has him in that image right there because he was able to score, and the rookie that tried to block him or try to cause some type of defensive lapse for him did nothing. And Josh Hart looked at him and said, "Who's that guy? Who are you? You play here?" Because he knew the game was already over. You got to love Josh Hart. You got to love that energy. And again, able and capable of giving you anything you want on the floor. You need him to pass. You need him to rebound. You need him to score. He can do it all and then some. And honestly, I'm happy he didn't have to get us a double-double tonight because Karl Anthony Towns was absorbing all of those rebounds. That's why Josh Hart really didn't have to do anything on that end. So credit to him. Another player I wanted to talk about tonight is Miles McBride. 21 minutes played, but 2 of 6 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and 7 points. And the entire arena screaming, shouting Deuce McBride every time he puts up a shot. The reason I want to mention him is because he played the most minutes off the bench, 21 minutes, and it only looks like those minutes are going to increase if you want to see a better lineup. Let's look at the team stats, though. Team stats tonight. The Knicks and Magic actually shot pretty good from the field, which really is surprising because the Magic really couldn't make anything for the entire game. I'm surprised they got it up to 41%. 46 for the Knicks, 41 for the Magic. The Knicks from three-point line tonight, 41% compared to the Magic, 30%. Yeah. 19 turnovers for the Knicks, 15 turnovers for the Magic. The turnovers for the Knicks are absolutely deplorable. I mean, we're not that team. We're really not that team. We're a better team than turning the ball over this many times. But for the last week, we've been turnover prone, heavy turnover prone. Not the same way we play basketball. Normally, we should be around 11 turnovers. The Magic, their defense, they forced a lot of turnovers and they converted. That's the reason this game was so close. The reason that the Knicks didn't blow out the Magic, given the fact that we should have, they only had 30% from three. We should have blown them out. We couldn't because they kept playing defense, and that's how the game was close. A lot of those turnovers were forced by their great defense. Why was this game so close against Orlando? I always want to look a little bit deeper, right? So I did. And team stats, man, do I love my team stats? They just tell you the full story. And so does the shot chart and what the breakdown says as well, too. Obviously, the Orlando Magic are the light blue and the navy blue is the New York Knicks. Very, very easy to understand why this game was so close. Look at the assist number, guys. 20 assists. 20 assists as a team. Embarrassing. And a lot of those assists, by the way, you guessed it, ding, 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 second half. Second half. We barely passed anything in that first half. Where's the consistency at? Where's the team play at? 20 assists. We shouldn't have won this game. Normally, when we're winning games, 27, 28, 29 assists. 20 assists? Embarrassing. You want to know why it's embarrassing? Jalen, Brunson, and Karl-Anthony Towns, your two starters and stars, had 5 assists apiece. They had half of your assists. 2 players had half of our assists. Embarrassing. But another reason why this game was so close, take a look at the points in the paint. 48 to 42. 48 paint points to 42. The rebounding numbers, 45 to 39. I don't care. That, for me, is too close. Last season, we used to dominate teams by 15 boards or more. Now, it's 6, barely beating them on the boards. I'm not going to brag about that. Look at the shots. We took 71 shots. We allowed the Magic to take 86 shots. Team took 71 shots. Orlando did their damage where? Where, guys? You guys can see it. You guys know that the three-point shot was not there. And you guys can see they didn't really shoot that much when they knew they were going to miss. Everything almost inside the paint. 48 points. 48 of their points came from in the paint. And I remind you guys, the final score was 100 to 91. That's where they did all of their damage. That's where most teams do all of their damage. So what's the formula to beat the Knicks? I've said it before. I can say it again. If a good team ran this, we might have lost. Penetrate, create, attack aggressively, and swing. You do that, you get open looks, open shots, open lanes, open cutters, easy baskets. On defense, be aggressive and switch. You do that, you will beat the Knicks. That's simple. Because the Knicks do not know how to shut that down consistently enough. And when they figure it out, the other team can run something else. Or they're going to allow the 3 and then get dominated from 3. It's a problem. It's a problem that the Knicks normally fix, but it takes some time. Guess what? December 15th. Time's up. We got to fix it. I'm happy when we win games, but I'm happy when we break down games. Because breaking down the games lets you understand. Be happy about the victory. I am. Be happy that it's not a loss. I am. But also, break down the game and understand where it's okay not to be happy. It's okay to be unhappy with the defense that we saw at times. Consistency is what we need, and consistency wins championships. If we're not going to be a consistent team, then you can put those championship hopes out the window because we're not going to get it. There's no way to attain that if you're not going to be a championship roster. Play that way, defend that way, score that way, and give effort that way. Only one way to do that. Lock in and play as a team. 20 assists? That's not team play. That's more isolation trying to be a team play. Not good enough. but good enough tonight to get the W. Happy about that. But let's see what happens our next game when we face the Minnesota Timberwolves and see what we do against them and how good the Knicks can be as a team against that team. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. And if you did, please go ahead and smash that like button. Leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knick fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.